New Year's Day is often a day of celebration and hope. But for Epa Steve Maltungtung, 2024 started with tragedy.
We were engaging in some activities with the families around in Port Vila, and that's where I received phone calls when I was driving.
Epa's younger brother Moken was living in Australia working on a farm in northern New South Wales.
We encourage each other because he's my younger brother, so he needs a lot of support.
Epa had a lot to look forward to. Moken was coming home soon.
We were preparing to go to the Highlands, knowing that it's our last conversation during that time. When I arrived at the house and I checked the messenger, I couldn't believe that it's my brother here. It's an unexpected incident.
On the 1st of January, emergency services were called to a property near Corinda following reports of a male who had gone missing in a storage dam. The body of a 31-year-old man was pulled from the dam.
After the body arrived on the shore, they just confirmed to me that it was Moken's body.
The circumstances of his death are now under investigation by SafeWork New South Wales. As a young man, Moken was a promising footballer playing for the national youth team. He started a family, but he had no qualifications and finding a job wasn't easy. Like many Pacific Islanders, Moken went to work in Australia. After originally signing up to the Pacific Labour Mobility Scheme in 2021, he soon dropped out and sought employment independently. In August, there were over 30,000 workers in the PALM scheme from 9 Pacific nations and Timor-Leste. It's helped Australian businesses fill vital worker shortages and has been life-changing for many.
I already built 2 houses and I bought 2 cars already, just for like the 1 season.
But there are persistent concerns about worker welfare. Death, illness and injury are also afflicting workers in the scheme. 84 workers have died in Australia over the last 4 years. 19 remain under investigation. There were almost 400 cases of injuries or illness reported by employers in the same period. Car accidents and medical problems are the leading killers, but advocates say there's an information gap which is leading to preventable death and injury.
A lot of them don't understand because most of the time when they land here in Australia, everything is given to them in English, whether it be the training, whether it be the education around the systems.
In Brisbane, lawyer Sinomia Taufao has worked on so many cases of seasonal workers getting themselves into danger, he's lost count. The communication barrier can lead to gratuitous concurrence, where a person appears to approve even when they do not agree or understand.
As Islanders, we are taught to always respect our superiors. Whatever they say goes. We're always yes people. If the employer says, do you understand? We will always say yes. We will always say yes just to avoid any issues with the employer.
When things do go horribly wrong, few palm workers have life or travel insurance, and absconded workers often lose their health insurance when they leave the scheme.
In most situations, they don't have life insurance. It's a massive, massive, massive issue. A lot of them come to me after absconding or something going wrong, and it's at that point where it's a little bit too late to do anything. Now, who's left out of pocket at the end of the day? It's the families back in the islands.
In Moken Maltungtung's case, he did not take out insurance cover, but his employer, P&J Harrison Sons, paid to repatriate his body back to Vanuatu. Sources with knowledge of the events said Moken celebrated New Year's Eve the night before and was put to work on the public holiday when he went into the dam.
There's a lot of questions coming up about his death. The manager or the owner of the farm, it has to have care over the employees.
P&J Harrison Sons told us it prioritises the safety of its employees. We're heading to Blackett in Western Sydney to visit Ni Vanuatu Australian, Valencia Paquete, who runs a boarding house for seasonal workers in distress.
Hi, nice to go. This is my mother.
So nice to meet you.
Nice.
Thousands of Palm Scheme workers have absconded from the scheme, escaping exploitation. And Miss Paquete is the first point of call for many.
So I've got mattresses. It's nothing fancy, but it's something that helps them get started.
And so how many people have you got staying here at the moment?
Right now, 5. A lot of them, they come in quite deflated, discouraged. My goal is to see them flourish and do better. It's just they needed to be understood. It's a huge culture shock. They don't understand how hard it is to live in Australia.
When Moken Maltungtung died, Miss Paquete provided support to other seasonal workers on the farm.
His death was sad. It was really sad. And he could have said no, but he didn't. And I've always discouraged them from doing that because it puts their safety at risk. Hi, welcome back to Awareness Time.
Miss Paquete says a lack of interpreters is a major welfare issue leading to inadequate training and risk awareness.
I've started making awareness videos to help them understand the way of life in Australia. I've gotten a lot of response. I think the Palm Scheme is failing the Pacific Islanders big time. They need to be doing a lot more. It should be the government's responsibility. They should be going above and beyond for this.
The Australian government has announced a raft of reforms to improve the scheme, including adding more interpreters. But Miss Paquete says the government's welfare programs lack reach. I met a seasonal worker staying at Miss Paquete's house who didn't want to be identified. He's disengaged from the Palm Scheme and says he was desperate to leave.
I was really excited, like a lot of difference. It's not really what I expect to see. They just don't give a shit or something. Like they just don't mind about anything you want to say to them, about your welfare or...
So if you have concerns about your welfare, do you feel like you can raise them with your employer, or did it feel like there was no one to talk to?
I feel like there's no one to talk to, yeah.
And without someone like Valencia, would you feel pretty helpless?
Oh, I feel pretty helpless, yeah. I don't know what to do, I don't know where to go, I'm just hopeless, yeah.
The minister overseeing the scheme said he's open to further changes.
We have seen, unfortunately, far too many abuses of the Palm Scheme. It is a concerning rise that we have seen in the number of Pacific workers disengaging from the program.
Back in Vanuatu, Epa and the Maltungtung family wait patiently to find out what happened to Moken.
I have a lot of memories. My family's always crying. Yeah. We are still praying for, the investigation is still on. Please pray for us that there will be justice.